Okay, hopefully this works. Doesn't look like it is. Okay, can you hear now? Okay, I think we're okay now. Sorry about that. I think Windows Update has played havoc with with Streamlabs. So hopefully you can hear us again now. Very odd indeed. Right. Okay. Let's try that again then. 1, 2, 3. We're off and running. Right. Well, let's start again, shall we? Right. So live for speed then. Let's try and get this all out and back as it was. So this week we're doing very special. We've driven live for speed before on stream, and we've done various different videos about it in the past. But today we are taking a look at live for speed because this last week, on the 18th of August, Live for Speed celebrated 20 years since it was first publicly released. So we're going to take a look at Live for Speed in all its forms and what makes it so good and why is it still on a roll today. Why do we still have people driving in Live for Speed, and why are they not transitioning over to more modern titles, such as, say, for example, a set of Corsa Competizione, iRacing, and all sorts of other bits and pieces which are available, which are seen as being more of a modern sim racing experience. But why are the people still coming back to Live for Speed in 2022? And is it still good today? That's what we're going to be checking out. We're going to take a look at some of the highlights and what we are really liking about Live for Speed and what's made it so good over the years. So, right, I think we're into it now. Let's let's get into this properly. So first of all, this is the intro screen, which is a little bit different to how it would have been when Live for Speed was first released. Obviously, you now have a list of upcoming events on the left-hand side here, whereas before you'd have a picture of a car going over a jump. But now we have an upcoming events list on there, which is really cool. The other thing I need to be checking out this evening is we have a brand new direct drive wheel. So if it works with the direct drive wheel and how well it gets on with it, that's going to be interesting to find out as well. And if it doesn't work so well, it could be a very short stream, but I'm pretty sure it will. So here we go then. So first thing I wanted to take a look at this evening, which is something you don't tend to find too much in modern sim racing titles, is the training mode. Now, we're going to take a fresh look at this. We did the video back in 2021, which was how good is Live for Speed in 2021. And things have changed a little bit even more since then. So this is going to be a fresh look at Live for Speed this evening. So let's jump into the training mode here. Now, this is something which you don't obviously see, I said you don't get in many sims these days, but it basically takes you through all the basics of driving cars, how to do cornering quickly, how to accelerate and brake quickly, overtaking, and basically just helping you get used to various cars within the titles. So it's really cool to have something like this in there. So we'll do a couple of these training courses just for old time's sake. So we've done acceleration one here, obviously. So let's do the slalom course and see how we get on with this one. This is going to be a little embarrassing if this doesn't go so well, but simple course, just a little slalom course, and you've got your target times there for if you're okay, you're quick, or you're pro. So let's see what kind of target we can achieve here. That's not working very well. I did have clutch set up. Let's just check that. Ooh, no. Don't exit Live for Speed, silly boy. This has not started well, has it, everybody? This is not your usual smooth sim racing Bible experience. So we got clutch set up. Anyway, this is a good opportunity to show you how easy it is to set up controls here in Live for Speed. You've got all your axes on the side here. You can see where all your inputs are, and you just click on the one you want. So there we go, clutch installed. Let's try that again. Here's the slalom course. And once that's loaded in, go. Right. Why is that still not doing that? Okay, anyway, we'll try again. We've got to wait for the lights to go down to green. Engage first gear straight away. Right, let's get our way through the slalom course. Ooh. And we hit a cone, so that's a penalty. Oh dear. Right, 16.37, we can do better than that. Let's try that again. Kind of guessed the lights there a little bit on that one. Now, key here is to get constant speed, so not going too fast. And nail it to the finish. And what do we get to there? 14.5, that's a better time, so we're now up to quick standard now, so we're not quite pro yet, so I think we can probably extract a bit more out of there. Let's go again. So, take a fresh look at this particular sim. If you are new to Live for Speed and you've not seen it before, please take a look at this as being something different and look past perhaps the outdated graphics, if they are such a thing. That was an okay run because I was lazy off the start. Let's try that again. One more try. Ooh, reaction times wasn't great there, but felt a little bit better. 14:10, I think that's not quite quick enough though. Okay, well, we're quick. I'll take that for now. Yeah, 13 and a half. Yeah, okay, so let's move on to throttle control. And this is the... we're driving around in a circle in the car park here, so let's do a bit more of this. Get ourselves up to speed, but then try and go as quick as we can around here without staying in the lines. Just trying to keep as constant a throttle as you can. So that was 10:56. So we're again quick in standards. The game sounds a bit louder, Sherry Marbek. Okay, let's do that. Turn things up a little bit. There you go. It's a bit better now. Anyway, welcome along, guys. Sorry it was a little bit of a ropey start, but we're up and running now. So welcome to Dr. Frederick, welcome to Marbek for Gotti 1958's. Welcome to it. Let's fix this clutch issue once and for all. I think it must be on auto clutch, that's why. Clutch is in axis. I wonder why that's changed on there. Very odd. Okay, that should be better now. But we'll do the overtaking one then. Let's do that. Right, here we go. So we now have some AI cars on track. Oh, it's still doing it. Normally that's not a problem. I don't know why it's decided it's going to do that, but what have I got wrong on there? Inverted. Anyone sees the object I've got it wrong, please let me know. Okay, anyway, we'll just work around it for the time being. Right, hey Dolro, welcome along, good to have you with us. Right, we'll just slam into first gear when it's time to go. So the AI are labelled with their individual abilities. We have the OK AI on the right hand side, followed by quick and then pro up in front. So there's one lap of the Blackwood circuit to see how much we can do in terms of overtaking and how quick we will be. Except we have no brakes now too. This was all set up, I promise you. This was all up and running earlier on, and now all of a sudden it's decided it's not going to do that. Right. This time. Oops. I want to restart that. Try again. Not. Go back. Back. Taking. Right, okay. This time we've got it sorted. Okay, we're up and running now, guys. Right, so the object of the game of this one is to overtake as many as we can without touching them. So we have to kind of take into account the AI's ability to avoid people. And my ability to avoid them. Okay, this time I think we're going to go for the inside nice and early, I think. I'm going to go chase and hunt down that pro car. And as they all file into line very quickly, and there's no room to get in there. So we're going to try and get the outside. Okay. Can't avoid that. It's not my fault if he overruns the corner. Alright, come on then. Maybe this time we'll be a bit sneaky. We'll just let the OK guy go. And then we'll pick him off as we get there. Let's try and... Here we go. Now we have a nice clean run up the inside as that's the idea. Here we go. Got a good exit off turn 1, but are we going to get touched into here? Yes. Dr. Frederick says, overtaking your opponent without overtaking without taking out your opponent. How unrealistic. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, who does that these days anyway? I thought the name of the game was just to hit him out of the way. Okay. Well, the turn 1 tactic worked a little bit better. Let's try again. That was the world's worst start, because that's what happens when you start in 3rd gear. This time we'll try in 1st gear. Right. This time real way. Ped 7G, nice clean run versus LFS AI. Not exactly how it works, to stay out of their line. Yes. You're gonna have to let them do their thing and then try and pick them off in an unusual sort of manner. Yeah, we got a good run off the corner. It's gonna squeeze us. Let me on. Right, okay, we're back on track. Here we go. Let's get in slipstream now. Got to get after that pro. We've only got 1 lap to do this as well, so we've got to make our move as quickly as possible. Okay, now I'm going to put it out there. The reason people stick around with Live for Speed is probably not down to the training mode, but I'm just showing you this because it's quite cool. So here we go. Let's try again. This time we need to just stay away from wherever they're going to go next. That's the idea anyway. Right, down to turn 1 we go then. Hard on the brakes. Down to 2nd gear. And get taken out. Right, okay, that's enough of that. So yeah, so it takes you through the different cars then. So that's obviously all based around the XF GTI, and then you have the test drive mode for the Formula BMW. So here we go. This is just basically, you take the car out, you drive it around, you get used to it a little bit. It's got a driving line on there as well for you, should you need it. Not that we really need that. But yeah, basically you just drive it around as much as you like, and then you can quit whenever you're ready, and it says done, you're pro. Just like that. But it goes on and on. We got all sorts of other tests on there, slaloms again, high-speed braking, chicanes, pit stops, rallycross as well. So let's get on to that a little bit more now. So training side of things, if you're new to sim racing and you're trying to hone your skills, the training mode is actually quite useful in that regards. Maybe not so much in trying to race other cars, because as we found out, that's not always the way it works. But in terms of actually trying to improve your throttle control, your braking, your acceleration, it is quite a useful thing to have. Okay. Next up then. If you think of Live for Speed, if you've driven Live for Speed in the past, name me one combination of car and track which is just typical of Live for Speed. And I'm pretty sure I know which one it would be. It would be the XF GTI at Blackwood, which we've already driven just now. This car and track combo is probably one of the most popular ones, mostly because these two are both featured in the demo of Live for Speed. So a lot of people who didn't buy any of the S1 or 2 licenses back in the day when it was released, just stuck with the demo, and you can play this as long or as much as you want. And there's still a lot of people who still run the demo now just because this is all they drive. But the XF GTI and the Blackwood circuit is one of those combinations which, if you've been in sim racing for a long time, you will know and you'll recognize and you'll probably love too, because the Blackwood circuit is really fun. And I think I just remember so many hours just pounding around this track, trying to get a quicker lap time on the LFS World app so we could see how far up the rankings I could get in the world rankings and things. And this was one of those combinations that's really worked. So let's try and do a lap of the GP track here at Blackwood, this time without any AI to interfere with things, so we can actually get a full lap in for you. So this is in hot lap mode, so we're going to get a flying start at the start-finish line. But many people would be familiar with that starting position. If you're a hot lapper from days gone, or still are, you'll be very familiar with where that starts. Up to the final corner here at Blackwood, which is this lovely sweeping left-hander before you come up over the brow of the hill. So here we go then. This is the start-finish line where we started our race against the AI, and under the bridge we go. Down towards turn 1, as we've seen, and this is quite a tricky braking point, so brake about the 100 board. And a second. Front-wheel drive, the XF GTI, so you've got to be quite careful with your inputs on the throttle. There we go, safely through the chicane. Take a nice straight line on the exit as well to help carry your speed all the way down the straight, because this straight is very, very long in a low-powered car such as this. And I remember back in the day, split times through Sector 1, 29s would be pretty good, and we're obviously a long way off that because we're just getting back into it again. But here we go, down to the braking point at the end of the straight, probably 125 metres out, down to third. Get it turned in nice and early. Lead the power in. And then on the brakes again, get it turned in. This is a really fun combo through here. It's quite quick. Big sausage curb on the left-hand side to avoid. Dolro, thank you so much for the $4.99. That's amazing. Thank you so much for supporting us as a channel. I really appreciate that. So sorry that I was not in your stream for so long. You know how it is, always working. Ah, Dolro, yeah, I feel your pain. But no, I really appreciate that. Thanks for joining us anyway, even though you were working. Feel free to catch up with it later if you want to. It will be online. Hey Funky, welcome along. He says, hey Phil, did you manage to solve the wheel cutting out issue? I believe I have. So I've done a little bit of shifting around, and I've changed where the DD wheel is plugged into and what's next to it. So that hopefully has solved the issue. I've not had any issues since, but that's obviously still to be concluded. But yes, touch wood, so far so good. Fly buzzing around, go away. So there we go, get down towards the end of the straight once again. But the Blackwood circuit itself is really fun, and I love driving pretty much anything around the Blackwood circuit. It's a really good test track. It's got a lot of mixtures of different corners that just work. It's good for testing all sorts of different machinery. This corner, you can take it quite a lot quicker than you think it really is, so again, using the front wheel drive to help pull the car through the corners and keeping that momentum going as well, because once you lose momentum in a car like this, you really do struggle to get it back on the way into the next corner or down the next straight. Always easy to catch that sausage curb on the inside of the corner there as well. Little lift, a little bit of lift off oversteer as well, and up and over the curb to kind of ride you, get the car back in line again as you hit that curb on the exit there. But really is such a fun layout. It's got some nice gradients, nice elevation changes, and just, as I say, a good mixture of different corner speeds, etc. But Blackwood and XF GTI is just live for speed all over, basically. It's just what we know and love about this particular sim. But it's not just the GP circuit of Blackwood. It's going to bring me on to the next thing, which is really, really good about Live for Speed. And that is the variety of things you can do. Feel that fly. The variety of things you can do. So you have the GP circuit. You also have a Rallycross circuit here at Blackwood, and there's a couple of other Rallycross circuits in the title as well. If I can get my words out. So let's find another mod. We'll get onto that in a moment. Let's go to something else in the sim, and we'll try the RB4 GT. Four-wheel drive, kind of very similar to a Celica, I suppose. And we'll load the Rallycross setup for this one. And we'll go test out the Rallycross options here on Live for Speed. So, Rallycross is one of my favourite disciplines of motorsport anyway. I just find it so exciting and just fun to drive and to watch. So basically you have a mixture of hard tarmac surfaces and loose gravel surfaces. Mostly done on rally cars, which are built tough, with lots of suspension travel. But this is the Rallycross circuit here at Blackwood, which is, again, one that you would be able to drive in the demo, so I'm sure those who have driven it before in the past on the demo will be familiar with this. Down to turn 1, hard braking point. A load of understeer through there, up and over the jump, thread it between the tyre stacks. And then over another jump into this banked left-hander. There's a crest in the road there as well. Quite rough as far as Rallycross tracks are concerned, but still good fun. And of course the AI will work on the Rallycross tracks as well. So I have a handbrake button assigned, should we need it, so I'm going to have to try that into turn 1 this time to try and get some rotation going, because we were understeering wildly into turn 1. But it's good. I mean, I'm trying this now obviously for the first time properly with the direct drive wheel, as I mentioned at the beginning, and so far so good. The feedback is actually pretty good, really, considering. There we go, on the handbrake. Get the car rotated into there. Probably a bit too much of a cut. We had a hot lap invalid because of going off track there, but too much handbrake. But yeah, the actual feedback through the wheel is pretty good. I mean, it's... Ooh, there we go. I did speak too soon. That was a cutout right there. Oh, we'll keep working on it. But yeah, the feedback is not bad at all. It's not got the canned effects that you would get in some sims. It's pretty direct in terms of what you feel through the wheel anyway. But you have a good idea of what the car's doing underneath. You feel the weight of the car, you feel the curb strikes particularly. But it's definitely very workable and very usable, even though it's 20 years old. It really does work well. So there we go, Rallycross on Live for Speed. And talking of physics, that's something I wanted to kind of touch on as well, because for years, I think, even from the days of running this back on a really old laptop and using mouse steering or keyboard steering, whatever it may have been at the time, you really got a good understanding of what the tires are feeling like underneath you, and you have a good feeling of tire movements as well. You can see on some of the replays when you're going through corners quite hard, you can see that the tires are deflecting slightly as well. So there's a lot of tire movement on them. There's always been one which has felt very natural to me. So driving a car on Live for Speed has that same kind of natural feeling as if you're pushing on a road tire. On a natural track, it does have that same feeling of that movement in the tire carcass, and it's really, really good. And you do feel it through the feedback as well. You can feel the tires is kind of just wandering over the surface of the circuit, and physics wise it is really, really good. Laurel's here as well. Yes, car physics are bang on, he said. Yeah, absolutely, they are very, very good indeed, and they've done a good job of it. Hey Martin. Maybe better drift skids now with a non-GT style wheel. Yeah, well, I've got the new D-shaped wheel, and it's considerably easier to go sideways with rather than with the Formula rim. Kind of got used to the Formula rim over time, but now I've got to get used to having an actual steering wheel in my hands. Frank's here. Welcome, Frank. You're walking the dog. Oh, that's fine. Dog needs walking. Excellent. Right. Well, welcome along, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Welcome to Sim Racing Bible. I will be honest, our technical issues at the start of the stream are not typical of what you would find here. I think Microsoft have done me a bit of a misfortune there, because it's just reset everything. But yeah, welcome if you're brand new to the channel. If you've been here before, welcome back. And if you are a regular here, I'm sorry for wasting so much of your time. No, I'm just joking. But good to have you all with us nonetheless. We're taking a look at Live for Speed this evening. So, Rallycross, circuit racing. What else can you do in Live for Speed? Well, we kind of touched on it a little bit just now. And one of those things is, because of the tire physics being so good, you can actually do some very, very nice drifting. So that is, of course, if you're skilled. If you're not skilled, then it can be quite tricky. But let's see how we get on. Let's find a car which is suitable for drifting. Of course, you can use any of the regular cars which are included with Live for Speed, because you can change the setups on them, etc. But let's find a suitable one to try here. There's so many mods on here now. I'm just trying to find one which I know works well as a drift car. So this is where a lot of people were playing around with Live for Speed back in the day, where there'd be drifting servers set up with different layouts that you'd go on to, and people would just be sliding around having fun with each other, so that was always good. I can't remember which one's a good drift car. This is too many to choose from. Right, well, this looks particularly drift-ish. Let's try this one. To rip my arms out of my sockets with the direct drive wheel, but we will try it nonetheless. What we'll do is we'll open it up as well. This is another wonderful thing with the World of Live for Speed, is they've introduced these free roaming maps. So basically you can have Blackwood, but you open it up so everything is drivable. So really does cater for all sorts of different favorites of styles of driving. So this is going to hopefully prove to be a little bit easier with the new wheel. If not, it will expose my inability to drift. which it probably did. And obviously this is a modded car, so it's kind of geared up more for drifting because it's got the right steering lock. But the fact that you can just drift it around this roundabout with a good understanding of what's going on underneath you, even if you do get a little bit over sideways. Right, let's go down this way a little bit. What was also ahead of its time back in the day for Live for Speed was the fact that you can have punctures. So you can actually overcook the tyres just a little bit too much, or if you're doing massive donuts or drifts like this, you could very easily end up with no tyres on the rear, and then it gets even more out of control. Kind of what sounds like what's happened now. Yeah, you get to a point where the tyres just get beyond beyond the point of usefulness. But yeah, that's just a generic mod that I just found. All of a sudden you can just go out there and just throw it around sideways and just have a lot of fun with it. Use harsh style cars named with HS. Not sure what you mean there, Fear, but HS cars is original edited cars used in real life modded cars. Okay. Yeah, so there's this incredible feel through the wheel as to what's going on underneath you. You can actually just hold it in those beautiful drifts and just kind of enjoy throwing a car around and just feeling where the grip is as well, which is something which is just so incredible. Okay, we'll come back to that in a moment. Working our way through the various things. So free roaming. Free roaming is something which has come a little bit more popular recently in the world of sim racing, mostly on Assetto Corsa with the large scale maps that you have there, where they're basically just public roads. You can go off and drive whatever car you want, just basically replicate giving a good supercar, whatever, a thrash down a country road, whatever you want to do. But free roaming is something which is quite popular for a lot of people to do. It's quite relaxing in a way. You can just kind of go out and just chill and drive and just enjoy the thrill of driving a car. And you can do that in Live for Speed, and you have been able to do that in Live for Speed for some time now. So let's choose I don't know, some kind of a car. Let's just stick to the standard ones now, and we'll take the raceabout, because I've not driven this thing in a little while. This is actually based on a real life car. So let's let's give this a go. So lots of different tracks available. So you have Blackwood, you have various layouts, and obviously the full thing. But you can free roam on all these different variants. You can use all the roads available within the title. West Hill is a really good one for free roam. It's got so much space, and there's lots. Hang on, let me just check that, because I think I may have got a layout loaded on that one. No, we're good. So here we go. So you basically start wherever you put your start point. But so what you can do is you just basically go wherever you fancy, whatever takes your interest, and we'll just come off the racetrack here, go the wrong way up pit lane, and we'll go right here, shall we? So here we go. It's a great opportunity for new drivers. If you're not able to drive on the road, if you're learning to drive, this is actually a really good tool for using, because you have all your inputs. You have obviously your steering, brakes, clutches, throttles, etc. You can map indicators as well, I believe. So it's a good tool if you wanted to learn how to drive and handle a car in a road type situation. You've got all the key ingredients you need here. You've got all your road signs, you've got markings on the road, etc. And you can just cruise around and just drive as you would in real life if you wanted to learn how to do that. Or you could just go a little bit nuts and just drive like you wouldn't be able to drive in real life, but maybe how you want to drive in real life. There's a bit of a thing on the channel where Frank tells me that this is how I would drive on the way to Tesco's on my local supermarket. Not sponsored by Tesco's, of course, but this isn't how I drive in real life on the road. I save it for the sim. Up past the hotel on the right there. One of the kart circuits also to the right. But it's fun. You can just have a nice relaxing drive and just explore. Go do what you want to do. If you want to go a bit crazy and just start, I don't know, doing a chicane through the flower pots. Or crunching into the flower pots should you wish to. And then without the need for insurance, you can just simply go back to the pits and go again. No one needs to ever know you did that, apart from all you guys watching on YouTube, obviously. But it's fun, you know. It's part of the appeal. I know there's a lot of cruising servers which are online, which basically just allow you to just join in, go and drive wherever you want. Some of them have organised cruises where you basically just join a big crocodile and just all drive off somewhere together, but most of the time you're just free to go and do whatever you want. And there's just so many servers out there set up to do that, so if you're interested in doing something like that, or free roam driving, Live for Speed's got you covered, which is awesome. Not for everyone, I can imagine. Not everyone wants to poodle around or be uncompetitive in any way, but if you are so inclined that that's what you want to do, it's taken care of within Live for Speed, which is brilliant. Go into the business park here. Parking for work. Right. There we go. So Flex says, try motorcycles in Live for Speed. Yeah, we will do, don't worry. We will do. Frank says, that might not be the right shirt for drifting. What's wrong with the shirt? There's nothing wrong with that. Let's see what else. Funky's on there. Can you drop in mods manually in AC? I can't get Content Manager to work on Linux. Well, funny you should mention that mods are actually completely taken care of within Live for Speed itself. You don't need any second piece of software or third-party software to get mods to work. You don't have to drag and drop files into locations. You can simply just go into the garage and then just click on the one you want, and it'll download it from within the game. You can download them from the forums if you wanted to do it that way and manually plant them into the folders, but you don't really need to do that. You can just download it straight from the title itself, which is really good and really handy. Funky says, never going back, Flex. Probably can't fit that much shopping on occasion anyway. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Okay, so free roaming is another thing which is big, and drifting, of course. But what else? What else is something that is really, really cool about Live for Speed? Well, added fairly recently, we've seen a little bit of it now. Up until fairly recently, Live for Speed literally had this as your product offering for cars. I mean, that in itself covers a good variety of different cars. You've got everything from small, low-powered front-wheel drive cars through to kind of mid-sized rear-wheel drives with turbos or four-wheel drive, sports cars, two-seaters, Caterham-style cars, through to full-blown race cars with slicks and single-seaters as well. And there's so many different options available there, which would keep you quite, entertained during the quiet evenings you may have as well. But what's happened now with mods is it's brought a whole new element to Live for Speed, which has really reinvigorated the community as well. It's actually really ignited the interest in Live for Speed once again. And as you can see, as we went through them earlier, there's so many mods now available to basically just download straight away and go and play with. And some of them are ridiculous, some of them are incredible, and some of them are just, why would you even think of doing something like that? But it's I love them all the same. It's brilliant. We've done several videos now in the past of new mods being released and testing some of them out. So we're going to do a little bit more now, just to see some of the latest ones that we haven't checked out yet, just to show you some options. So one of the ones we're going to start off with, further down here somewhere, I believe, is this one. So if you're a fan of sim racing, and you've watched some of our videos before, you will know that we are big fans of an M1 BMW M1 Pro car. And this car is basically taking one of the standard XR shaped cars, but turning it into a Pro car. So you've got elements of the the XR shape on the front and the rear, but with the louvres and the rear wing, it's actually quite Pro car looking. So we're going to give this one a bit of a try. I've got a fake livery on there as well. So let's go drive this one. I think with mods on Need for Speeds, you know, it's just such a mixed bag in terms of content that you can just really just keep going for ages and just find all sorts of different stuff. But here we go then, up and running in the M1 Pro Car style car here on Need for Speed. Already has that 6-cylinder type sound to it. Also got that dropping out force feedback feel to it, which is my problem, not Need for Speed. Up towards the second corner here at West Hill. Good force feedback. Nice and solid the weight through the steering wheel. Into third gear. It's got quite a modern interior to it. Obviously, it's using the XR's interior, as it's based on that kind of car anyway, so that's all good. It's a little bit more modern as you would find in a regular M1 Pro car, but this is of course not supposed to be a complete accurate representation of the real car. This is an interpretation of it. It feels nice to drive, it's good fun. So Go Fast, welcome Go Fast says you can use the Jaguar, creator updated it. Aha. We'll give that a try as well. But it's very nicely weighted and you get a good understanding of what's going on underneath you. So hitting that curb on the inside there, oh, and the back end braking away on the exit there, you feel it all, it's really good. But we hit the curb a bit earlier on, and as the car landed on the suspension again, you really did feel that through the steering wheel. But yeah, it's really nice to drive actually. Feels solid on the road. It can catch you out a little bit if you are a little bit too if you are a little bit too enthusiastic with your right foot. There are only 5 gears, so going to 6th was no good. Yeah, really load those tyres up, it's really good. Of course we're on the free roam version of West Hill here, so we can go anywhere we like, but we're just kind of sticking to the race circuit because that's where this car is really meant to be. But the sounds are nice, and driving feel-wise is very nice as well. Down to the chicane section, down to 3rd gear. Ooh, there's that rear end trying to step out on us again. There we go. Fierce says, did not expect someone suggesting my mod. Yeah, we'll certainly give it a go again. Hey Peter, welcome along. Good to have you with us. It's so easy to just get caught up driving and just not stopping because it's just so engaging. And I think, you know, in the world of sim racing, we are very much spoiled for choice, aren't we? We have a lot of options in terms of what we can drive. If we have particular interests, whether we like GT racing or whether we like single-seaters or touring cars, there's lots of different options available to us. You know, the iRacings, the Assetto courses, race rooms, Automobilista 2, of course. There's so much option available to us that we could just literally spend the whole day just driving almost everything and anything. So why does Live for Speed still hold a special place in sim racers' hearts? what is it that's so engaging about it? Well, I think for me, it's just the fact that it's just so lovable. And you know, I've grown up with Live for Speed, so I've been driving it for many, many years, and it feels almost like a you know, a comfortable pair of shoes that you kind of go to, because it's something you know and you're familiar with, and you enjoy driving it. And there's that element to it, but it's not just that. It's not just nostalgia that keeps me coming back to Live for Speed. It genuinely is a really good driving experience in all sorts of different cars and different disciplines as well. It really does kind of fill that little need just to have something easy that you can just pick up and play with and just have a lot of fun and just go out and relax and drive. And Live for Speed really does that for me personally, and I know it does for a lot of other people as well. Let's take a look at another one of these mods. So someone suggested the Jaguar, which I'm in agreement of. See if we can find it in amongst this huge array of cars to choose from. So there we go. This is the Jag. It's nicely modelled. Jaguar XJ. This is the would have been early 2000s kind of spec. The full blacked out one. A bit of a green option there. Bright yellow. Don't remember seeing them coming in that colour, but you may see a couple of ones that have been modded. I got a blue one which I quite like the look of, so I'm going to run with this one. We'll change the track up here. We'll go to Aston, and we'll come on to another track in just a moment as well. But let's try the Jag. Okay, so this is using the paddle shifter, which is probably because it's based on an automatic gearbox with Tiptronic. Interior looks nice. I like the wooden steering wheel detail and the dashboard. Very nice. The V8 rumble. So this is the XJR, presumably being the V8. The other versions of the XJ would be a 6-cylinder engine, but they had the all-singing, all-dancing V8 in the XJR. And this is a big car, so it's big, it's heavy, but it can dance. It can do the fun oversteer stuff because it's set up nicely. Hey, Romford Transport, welcome along. It says, hi, love the mods and the upcoming tracks. The new South City looks stunning as well. I think the first version I played was 0.6p or something. Yes. There's been a few variants across the years. But yeah, we'll mention that as well, because as part of the 20th anniversary of Live for Speed, the developers, who are only a team of 3, okay, so this is not a massive design studio which are working on this full time. Just a little excursion across the grass. This is just a small design team who are working on it in their own spare time and at their own pace, and they are still developing the sim. It's not been laid to rest because it's 20 years old. It's actually still being worked on. And as part of the 20th anniversary celebration, they released some news of what's coming up soon. So I did an article on Race Department about it this week, as we shared the news there. But they've done a bit of reworking of textures for some of the circuits. So West Hill's one of them, Blackwood was another. They've updated the textures to make it a little bit better looking. And they've been doing the same on South City, which is one of the circuits within Live for Speed. And they shared some previews of what the new textures are going to look like, and it's basically just been revamped entirely. It's going to be a very nice looking version of South City, and they've also showed off that they're working on day-night transitions as well. So at the moment you can only select, you know, just standard daytime, noon, afternoon, morning, etc. But you know, you can actually see that there's a transition between nighttime to daytime, and you actually get the sunrise and the night sky and everything as well. So it's really cool to see. And they've also announced that they're going to be releasing 2 new circuits which are in development. One is based around a World War II airfield, and the other is like a proving ground test track. So like you'd expect to find vehicle manufacturers putting pre-production vehicles through their paces, that's going to be coming along as well. So more scope for people to enjoy Live for Speed in their own unique way, of whichever way they want to drive and have fun with it. So looking forward to that. So yeah, Run for Transport also says, forgot though, also remembered when the new Blackwood first came out. Yeah, when they updated the textures for it. DGATS, welcome. It says, FYI, the two main developers are full-time. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. I thought they were working part-time, but thank you for clarifying that, DGATS. But yeah, they are working full-time on it. That's good. Now, a lot of people in the world of sim racing will probably associate Live for Speed with being something which is very slow in development, and that's, you know, obviously down to team size, but it doesn't really matter too much because everything that is in the game currently works. You're not driving with something which is kind of broken or awaiting fixes. It all works. So when there's a new update coming along, you know it's going to be right. Just kind of cruising around, just throwing this big Jaguar around. But yeah, so for me, it doesn't matter if it's if it's a slow progress, but it really, you know, it doesn't need to be constantly pumping out brand new content week in, week out, because sometimes things can get a little bit diluted or lose their way. But Live for Speed has always been pretty focused in what it's doing, and it's just a simulator for all different types of people and all interests as well. So I like that. I think it's good. So just catching up on what you guys are saying, this Run for Transport says the night feature would be great for cruising on long 24-hour endurance races. Yeah, I think the endurance side of things, there are endurance races held within Live for Speed, and the day-night transitions are definitely a big part of the whole feeling of an endurance race. So that'll be very important for that side of the sim. This Jag's really fun. We're just throwing it around everywhere and having a laugh. Okay, let's go back and find something else to drive. But the Jag's really good. I do like that. Okay, so someone mentioned motorcycles. So as part of mods in Live for Speed, of course you have a variety of different cars and, you know, hot rods, dragsters, vans, trucks, you name it. There's all sorts of different things in here. But as part of the mods here for Live for Speed, you also have bicycles. Now, I know people have tried in the past with various other titles out there which allow modding to put in some kind of motorcycle, and not all the time are they successful. However, you pick up a bike here in Live for Speed, and I'll show you what happens. So I'm going to take the RZM 250. We've ridden this before in the past, but you know, as you can see, it's nicely modelled, lots of detail on it. But this really does work. I'm going to show you now how it works. So let's go to South City, and I'll show you South City. Go free roam on that one. Here we go. So our rider is sat in position, and here we go. We're on a motorcycle in Live for Speed. Okay. So obviously I'm driving this with a steering wheel, which isn't ideal. I should have handlebars, but it's all properly modelled. So as you would in a motorcycle, normally you would go down to get into first gear, and then you would go up through the gears in a sequential format. And it's exactly the same here. So you have to click down a gear to get into first, and then release the clutch, and off you go. So we are currently balancing on two wheels. My steering angle needs adjusting for this, but okay, let's go back to settings a moment and see if we can change that, because I'm pretty sure what I was after. Pretty sure you can actually change that. I can't remember where I found it actually. There's a setting where you can change. We'll turn 90 degrees. Let's put it to 900. Don't know why all these settings have changed. Let's try that. No, that's still not quite that. Wheel turn compensation. It's not that. Anyway, let's try it. So I'll go into the outside view for you so you can see what's going on here. So you can see that the bike leans and it can then straighten itself up again. So it's very impressive that the actual bike can do this. It's not easy to replicate. Obviously you don't get the same kind of gravity side of things when you've got the rider moving around, because the rider is fixed. But the fact that you can just ride a bike on Live for Speed and try and keep it upright as well, which is just incredible. It's just so fun. Obviously with the correct steering angle. This is obviously part of me being on a direct drive wheel now rather than the Fanatec, so I just haven't quite got the settings dialed in just yet. Don't drop it. Ooh, going this way. The quick change of direction got me. But it works, and you can actually ride motorcycles in Live for Speed, which is brilliant. Now, one of the other things I'm going to show you here, which is something you don't really get in any other sims, partly because of trying to be realistic, etc. But this is something that really highlights the depth that you can go to with Live for Speed. So let's just find ourselves a generic kind of car here. Let's just take let's just take this Vauxhall Astra for one example. Set wheel turn compensation to 1. Is that what it is? Okay. Thanks, Digats. I appreciate that. So change that now. Turn compensation to 1. Here we go. Where are we? Oh, lapping. Right. So this is your example. Your Vauxhall Astra. Okay. You drive in cockpit view, so you can see everything as you would normally see it. Change view, obviously, you can get. This is just taking all the bodywork away. You've only got the tires, etc. There's various views, but what you can do is if you push the F button, it takes away all the bodywork, and then you have these little arrows which shows you the forces involved. I mean, how ridiculous is this that you can actually see what's going on? So turn to the left, all the weight transfers to the left-hand side, to the right, and then you put the brakes on, all the weight shifts to the front. So you can see where the weight's being, or the forces are being distributed over the car. And it's really interesting just to kind of see. It might not be practical for driving purposes or whatever, and you don't really necessarily need to use it, but just for pure fascination as to what's actually going on. Most of the time when you drive a sim, you drive it and you just go by feel or what you can see. Whereas with this, you can actually physically see what's happening and what calculations are going on underneath you. And it's just really, really cool. And obviously in the garage section as well, you can see what happens when you put the loads in as well. So I'll show you that. Go back to the pits here. So we're in forces mode there. Turn this around again. Force off. So in the garage mode here, you can see the car as it is. You can put the driver in. You can see what happens with the body as well. So it drops because there's more weight added. Put the fuel in, you see the back end drop down as more. So let's turn that off. Let's put forces view on. So that's where your loads are distributed. So obviously the majority of the weight's over the front wheels. That's where the engine is, and then the rear end is lighter. So let's put the driver in and watch the forces change there. Same with the fuel. But you can also do a drop So let's turn forces off, suspension on. You can see the geometry of the suspension as well. A drop, and you can see what happens in real time as to how the actual steering arms and the struts interact with each other and what happens. And you can dial into the settings there with different cambers and casters and all the different things you can adjust on the setup, and you can see real time what's actually happening with your steering geometry, which is, you know, incredible. You don't get that in any other sim. You just don't see anything like that. So that's properly cool. Just notice there's a there's a police, a taxi, and a trades version of the Astra. I've not seen that car before, but that's pretty cool. Okay, so that's pretty fun. So we're going to just step away from the mods just for a moment, because one of the other things which Live for Speed does so well is on the multiplayer side of things. So multiplayer is available to anyone who has it, even if it's just a demo version. You can join online. You can race with other people. Something else which was completely ahead of its time when it was released is the fact that you join a server and you can download any skins that are on that particular car. So if someone's using a custom skin which you don't currently have on your PC, it will download that skin onto the sim and you can see it in game, regardless of whether you've got it or not. And you can choose how big the sizing is of that, of, you know, the car skins being 1024 or 512. There's different quality levels basically. So that was in a sim way before anything like that appeared. I think R Factor 2 now does something similar, but most of the time, if you want to see another particular skin on a car, you have to download it and have it on your computer before you can see it. Whereas with this, you can actually download it straight from the server, and then you can see it in game, which is ahead of its time. So let's display the list of hosts now. This can be quite daunting to look at, but basically all you've got is server names, where you're racing, ping obviously, and then you've got a list of what cars are available for that particular server. So these are all the standard Live for Speed cars, which if you have a dot, obviously it means you can choose a particular car. And then you have other things here, so votes, qualifying, mid-race join, all that kind of stuff on there, and whether the server allows vehicle mods as well, so you can see some of them do, some of them don't. But what I really love about the servers here, so you've got a mixture. You can see obviously there's loads of cruise servers in there, but there are some racing ones, and I want to show you one because this is one that I go to and is good fun to drive. And we're going to go back to the first combo we tried, which is Blackwood and the XF GTI. Now this server here, you join in, and I'll show you why it's so good, because it's literally you join in at any point, and here you go. So we already joined in. There's actually just finished a race in front of us here, so they're currently just waiting for the server to restart. So here we go. This is a demo service. This is only using demo content, so you can just jump in. If you don't own the game, you can just download the demo and jump in and race online with these guys whenever you want. So let's go to the garage and we'll choose a car. We're going to go with the XF GTI, and we'll take which setup. We'll use that one there. So here we go. So you click join, and then it puts you in the garage. And then you got a little countdown clock on the left hand side here, which is counting down to the next race. So rather than just having a lobby, you go in, you qualify, you do your race, lobby goes back to lobby, and then you restart the session from there. Basically, all this is just a rolling race. So you do a 4-lap race, then you have a refresh time while everyone finishes off, and then the race just starts again, and it just keeps going and going and going. You can just simply just pump races out for fun all evening. So let's see how we get on here. We'll do a quick race with these guys. We'll be starting from the back because we've joined after the last race, so it's not taking results into consideration. But here we go. We're going to do a quick online race with a few guys. Wait for the lights. And away we go. Not the greatest of starts, but we get a good opportunity to see what happens into turn 1. Down to the first braking point. Everyone's fanning out in front of us. Let's get on the brakes. Oop. Bit of lag going on. Oops, someone's facing the wrong way. Right, okay. That wasn't the start we were looking for. Let's see if we can pull back some positions in the next 3 laps. So, just catching up with you guys' comments. So, yeah, talking about the liveries for the asterisk thing, etc. So Frankie says the last live stream put me off driving with others for life. Yeah, they got a little bit rough. Speaking of which, there's someone off on the outside here. Yellow flags, gonna not overtake. So here we go. Getting used to this hugely powerful XF GTI once again. There we go. Where are we? We're currently 8th. Let's see if we can get ourselves into the top 5. That might be nice. Got a rather damaged XF GTI ahead of us. See what we can do. The Frank says, this is where I go to be 3 seconds per lap quicker than everyone else. Phil 2002 copyright. No, it's not that much. Maybe 2.5. A little deep into turn 1, but we're through okay. Funky says he was only, this is referring to our previous live stream community races that we didn't have automated listed too. It was only 0.7s quicker than me and Imola. Stole my pole position at the last moment. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Funky. I know, you're probably still hurting about that. In the Corvette. Yeah. Yeah. Right, we are losing touch a little bit here. Let's try and regain our position on the back of these guys. So for those who are saying, you know, Live for Speed's just all cruise servers these days, it's not strictly true. You can jump on and have a race. Someone's had a moment there, a bit of a roll on the exit. So we're up to 7th now. So we've got 2 more laps to see if we can improve our position. The red XRG's got its hazards on. I'm not sure if that's a warning or not. Like a steer clear kind of a thing. Here we go. Down to turn 1 once again, penultimate lap. Ooh, the XRG got a little bit sideways on the exit there. Made a bit of a gap. Let's see if we can capitalise on this run out of here. Here we go. Down the inside we go. Okay. The XRG is quicker in a straight line than the XF, so he's pulled back ahead of us, but we should have got the purple car. Yes, we have. You can see in the mirrors now. Here we go. Let's give a bit of a look at the inside there. Ooh, he's sideways again. Oh, it's going to struggle to get that back over the curves. Oh. Well, they've obviously not taken the training on how to overtake without hitting someone. Never mind. We're still 6th. Someone must have retired ahead of us. A bit of oversteer now. Peter giving me the F for respects in the comments. Yep. It was shaping up to look good for a moment, but sadly, not to be. we'll finish this off anyway, even though it's very lonely at the moment with no one else around, but what it does show is that there are races out there available to just jump in and join. I mean, there's no prerequisites, there's no requirements for you to jump in here and be, you know, super fast or whatever. You can just simply jump in, have a race, and just keep on going and improve every time as well. So a lot of these servers as well are set up to kind of give you different things. So some of them have like an onboard point scoring system where you score points based on your positions, or some of them have safety ratings as well, which is quite cool. It gives you a rating based on how well you're driving. So there's a lot to Live for Speed servers. A lot of people put a huge amount of effort into them to make them as good as they are. There we go, up and over the line to finish 6th. And there we are, got our result up on the right side there. So our lap time 1:35.3. Possibly good enough for 4th there because we're a bit quicker, but end up getting entangled in some action. But what would happen from here is basically you just carry on around, and then you wait for the countdown timer to clock down, and then you straight back into the next race. And it's just really cool. You can just keep going round and round and just enjoy racing. So the other thing I wanted to show you here is that if you take a look at how many people are online here, okay, this is Live for Speed. This is a 20-year-old game, and look how many people are actually online racing or driving or whatever they're doing online. But there's still people running it, which is brilliant, and that's all part of the community of Live for Speed. It's a very committed community, and there's a lot of people who still spend an awful lot of time in Live for Speed, and that's what makes it so vibrant and so cool. Okay. Anything else I wanted to mention on regards to Live for Speed? Well, just generally, I think it is just so versatile as a sim, and it fills a good niche gap for that. A lot of sims these days tend to be quite focused on what they are doing, so you know, most of them will be based on the racing side of things. Some of them are even more focused on one particular series or style of racing, and that's great. If that's your thing, if that's what you really like, then that's brilliant. You can jump into that and you can be completely immersed in that one particular area you want to focus on. But if you want to have something which is maybe not quite so mainstream, or something which is more varied, or you want to jump from a race to a cruise or to whatever else you want to do with it, Live for Speed really does fill that gap in terms of availability of something different, something kind of a bit more relaxed, but also just accessible, and it's just so good. Let's go to single player mode, because one of the other things that I used to do quite a bit in Live for Speed is on the autocross side of things. Actually have drag racing. So let's set up a drag race here, shall we? We'll use a modded car for this one, because we'll use this dragster here. So we'll add an AI driver. They're on pro setting, so that should be interesting. Let's load it up. So here we are on the start line in our dragster. Engage first gear, wait for the Christmas tree, and then away we go. Oh, we bogged down. And we're going to lose that one. So a quick quarter-mile blast. So we did a 782 with a not so great start. So let's see if we can improve that. We've got a fair amount of wheel spin too, so let's go again. Rev didn't die quite so much. I'm up and away. There's 756 that time around. So Okay, drag racing is not going to be for everybody, I appreciate that too. But what's really interesting about this is if you take something which is a little bit less mental, like a dragster like this, if we say, let's go back to the standard cars here. So if we want to drag race something like the, I don't know, let's use the LXS6, or the LX6. So this is just your standard kind of Caterham Westfield type car. But what you can start doing is tinkering around with settings to try and improve the performance of it. So we'll put drag as a setup on there. So we'll use default one, and we'll do a race here. Obviously, we're up against the dragster, which is not going to be particularly good. So let's see what we can do with a stock version of the LX6. So with drag racing, of course, you've got to go as fast as possible, but you also got to make sure you get every single one of your gear shifts sorted. There, I was too late with that one. So you've got to nail every single shift point and get the traction off the line as well. So we did a 1308. Let's do another one just to try and see what we can do with it. See if we can improve on that, see if we can get down to a 760 or something. So get your reaction times off the lights here. You've got to keep an eye on that light, ready for the green. Kind of guess the lights, but we're up and away. Better shifts all the way through. There we go, 769. So let's say we wanted to try and improve that as a quarter mile time. So, oops, I'm going to jump straight into another race. Let's go back to the pits. So what would you do? What would you change in that? So if we want better traction off the line, maybe we would look to change the rear suspension. So let's say we soften the rear. Oops, gotta go and try drag setting to do that. So let's soften the rear, drop it down, and again you can see how soft you've made it by giving the car a drop on the screen there. So let's do that. We can change our final drive as well. So let's change our gears because we're quite getting up to 6th, are we? So let's take our final drive, or we don't do. So let's just take it down a little bit. Let's really shorten those. See what happens. So try and beat our time this time around. Felt like I had probably a little bit more wheel spin, but let's see. I've got to go the other way with the gears, I think. What was that? That was a 1302. That was an improvement, actually, wasn't it? I can't remember what we had now. Was it 1369? Was it, or 1269? Let's go back to here. Let's go the other way with gearing. Try that. Right. Let's try and beat that. Went too extreme with the gearing. Too much. Okay, try again. Right. But you can play around with this all the time because it's just things you can just tinker around with the setup and just try and improve it. Again, not the ideal gearing. Go back. Maybe it didn't need quite so dramatic of an improvement on the or change on the settings. Let's try it again. Right. Can you tell I can't quite get gearing right? Right, let's reset that. Let's go back to default, do a new drag setup. Oops. Drag 2. And this time we'll leave the gearing alone and we'll just focus on the suspension. So we'll soften that off, and we'll also reduce the ride height on the rear as well, like that. And nose up. See what happens this time. An 890 on the split. Yeah, 1335. So we were quicker before, but there we go. So, but you can just mess around with it. You can just play around with the settings, just try and tinker around and see what you can find that makes the best traction, and just learn the setup of the car, which is something I need to work on clearly. But it's good fun nonetheless to try and mess around with and just see what differences things make. Okay, so end that one for a second. So the other thing that I want to show you with Live for Speed, which is cool. We've done this again in the past as well, and that is layouts. So you can actually have, as part of the Live for Speed package, you can download an editor, which basically allows you to edit all sorts of things. But you can also edit in game. So you can create unique layouts. So you can use some of the individual objects which are found in the game, so barriers, tire bundles, haystacks, whatever it may be, and you can create your own individual layouts, which is going to be really cool. So if I go to Westhill, for example, and go to the free roam thing, you can see I've got a few of them downloaded here already, which we've tried some of these. Some people have made rally stages for Westhill, so we'll go onto this one. We'll get ourselves a suitable rally car. Oh, well, the RS200 Fraud Wheeler E2 seems like a good option. So we'll drive that around the rally stage. There we go. It's a race, that's why. We're hot lapping. Do that instead. So that's loaded. It is. Alright, let's load in. Okay, so here we go. Rally stage time. Oh, Wayfly. That's off. So lovely red steering wheel on the RS200. Need a co-driver. Speeding in the pit lane. Okay. Gonna nip through there. RS200 is feeling pretty solid underneath me. What the great thing about these layouts is you obviously can use all the perimeter and access roads here at Westhill. As I dip a wheel onto the grass. And we come down this way. Looks like we've got some change of direction coming from in front of us here. Get on the brakes nice and early. Looks like we're going to nip through the barriers here. Okay, need a proper handbrake for this really, but gonna spin around here. There's Group B rallying monster. Bring it this way. Four-wheel drive saved me, just about. Some big curves on the inside there. Ooh. overshoot that one. Where are we going now? Where are we going? Is it this way? We'll go this way. Down to the tunnel section. And my hand on the, or finger on the handbrake button, because we're gonna need it because I'm not paying attention. But yeah, so you can basically just form any kind of layout that you want on Need for Speed and just try it out and drive it. So I'm just going to show you one of mine because one I've worked on. So Rockingham. Most of the circuits here in Need for Speed are all fictional, except for this one, which is Rockingham. And this is an oval circuit. Well, it's not really an oval, but it's an oval style circuit based in the UK, which unfortunately is no longer in operation as a circuit. It actually uses a car park for surplus vehicles, I believe. But this is completely laser scanned as well, so that's really cool. So we've got a version of Rockingham in the UK on Need for Speed. So I've created myself a rally stage on here, so we'll give that a try. So just catching up what you guys are saying on here. So yeah, talking about the new tracks for the release coming up soon. So yeah, skid pads, high banked ovals, long highway sections and things. Yeah, so there's lots of interesting little areas to explore in the new layouts, but looks of things. Akilo says it'd be fun to wheel a stock car around it, but I'd imagine the racing would be absolute carnage. Well, yeah, there are some good ovals. As I say, there's Rockingham here, which you can use stock cars on. There's Kyoto Oval as well. So it'd be interesting to see what oval racing is like in Need for Speed, actually. Peter says, tragic that it's no longer an active circuit, referring to Rockingham. Yeah, it is. It is a shame. Right, here we go then. Into the Rally of Rockingham. Through the tunnel. Around the hairpin here. Bit of a cut there. With the hay bale chicane. Oops. A little bit late there on the handbrake and the brakes. This is very much modelled after like a typical stage rally or single venue rally. So looking at graphics wise and things, obviously it's not got the polish maybe that you would get with something like Assetto Corsa Competizione, but it has its own kind of beauty in its own right, really, to be honest. It's quite natural in its colours, and the texturing's nice as well. I mean, considering the age of it. And then across the line there, so it's fun. You can just kind of throw things around and just have a good laugh driving a car and just exploring the limits of what it can do. But the RS200 is very good, actually. It's quite grippy. It'll take a bit of getting used to, but really fun. Right, let's do the actual oval here at Rockingham. So that's fine. I know there's a stock car in here, so go find it. In fact, let's even do a race. Let's do something here. Let's go to the race mode and we'll choose ourselves. We'll have a stock car versus an IndyCar race. I think that could be fun. Right, where is it? Problem is now finding it. Fucking no, there it is. So we'll drive one of the stock cars. This is going to be a fast oval setup we're going to run. And we'll have... Why can't I add... Add... Oh, okay, that's fine. Clear. I'm going to go on the oval. That's better. That's why you can't do it, because it's it was the free roam. Right, so we'll add some stock cars in, and let's oops, not that. Let's go find the IndyCar, which has recently been approved, I believe. All Americas, there it is. So we'll add some of those in. And then, yeah, let's go. Let's do a 10-lap race here. We'll let the software run its thing in terms of calibrating the AI for us. Get an AI line on there. And we'll see what happens. We go stock car versus IndyCar. This is something which never happens in real life, so it's good that we can do it in sim racing. See how this goes. So just doing its AI paths. It's all done. Okay, let's go. Now the IndyCar is obviously going to be quicker, except we're meant to be in the stock car, but that's okay. Right. So this is a very unique shape for an oval. It's kind of a quad oval with various different radius corners. So here we go, off into the distance. That's ooh, looks like there's chaos behind. What we'll do, we'll start ourselves from the back, and we'll go in the stock car like we said we were going to. There we go. So we'll put me down at the bottom like that. We have everyone in front of us. So here we go. Let's watch as the IndyCars try and get their way through the stock cars ahead of us. It'll be interesting. Can't see the lights from here, but... And that means go. Oh, we've got chaos already. It's one off. Oh, pick your line. Okay, well, we survived. IndyCar's desperately trying to pick their way through. Oh, that's two more gone. Avoid him. Okay, we're clear. To the final corner here. Oop, this is one of the IndyCars coming back through. The stock car's rejoining. Oh no. Oh, we did so well to avoid them. We've got an IndyCar on its roof. Well, we're still going because we have bumpers to use. Oh, goodness. Oh, Bobby. Okay. We just launched that IndyCar. Oh, no. Okay, let's do that again. Okay, we've got 10 laps to not necessarily have a race here. We're going to have 10 laps to survive. That's the aim of this game. That's what happens when you mix IndyCar and NASCAR and AI. Yeah, you're right, Peter. No kidding. All right. Right. let all the action unfold ahead of us. Okay, not too bad. That's going to be some interesting obstacles to avoid next time around. Have to remember those mobile chicanes are there. Ooh, down the apron, that's not a clever idea, Phil. Gathered it up though. The final corner requires a little bit of brakes. Don't come back at me. Phew. Okay. Not a safe rejoin, that one. Right, turn one then. What kind of carnage is still existing here? Yep, so the guy on his roof. IndyCar on its side. Need to get up closer to that wall. I'm not carrying the speed I need yet. This IndyCar's got some serious tracking issues. Looks like he's pitting. Got a good run on the purple car here. Should get a nice run into turn one. Just completely ignoring yellow flags there, by the way. So that's turn 3, I suppose. Is it? No, turn 2. It's pretty quick. Big slide. Turn 4 is where you have to get on the brakes. This is very loose. Very loose. Oh! IndyCar has completely destroyed me then because pushing the... I'm gonna have to go hit the pace car in a minute. Okay. I'm enjoying this. I'm going to do that once again. This time with no contact whatsoever. So, Chris says, did the Sirocco ever appear in a build? Unfortunately, no. It has never appeared. We're still waiting for the Sirocco. But I believe it's down to something to do with tyre model and VW themselves. But those in Live for Speed community still remain hopeful that one day we may see that car appear. Alright. Now, survival is the key. Ooh, even the IndyCars can't keep off each other. Okay. So far so good. We're through lap 1, pretty much. Got that IndyCar going around the outside there, and then promptly taking out his competitor. No! Oh, okay, no matter what I do, I think I'm going to be doomed to be absolutely destroyed. Okay, so maybe IndyCar and NASCAR doesn't work so well. But it's fun nonetheless. Okay. So let's just revisit some of the mods in the next few moments or so. Let's have a look and see what else is new out there that we can try our hand with and see what it's like. So, work our way to the top of the list here. So, we've got various BMWs in here. Obviously, you can see the different iterations of it. The Moto Kart. Try the Astra briefly. What else do we want to have a go at? Oh, this is a nice, I reckon that's a bike engined version of the UF1. Okay, well, let's try this one. We have a monster trucking game. So, various options. So, Stadium Show, Knobbly, which is just like a box, hybrid, and then just the bare frame. So we'll use this one with the bodywork on it. Let's see how. Oh, goodness me. Okay, keep hold of the wheel. Nope, that's no good. Force feedback's all over the place with that. Turn that off. Okay. Some work needed on that one by the sounds of things. Let's put the force back on. Nearly ripped my arms off. Right, well let's go back to this one. This is one I was looking at. Let's try this. Oh, that's cool actually. Let's go back. Have a proper look at this around here. So a nice body kit on there. And you can see through that perspex rear end, you can see through to the engine, and then you've got 4 exhaust coming out. That's really cool. Right, let's try this. Hopefully this one's keep it nice to drive. As expected, it's a high revving engine, but actually made it to an H pattern gearbox rather than a sequential like you would expect a bike engine to run on. So we're on the free roam version of Rockingham here. So we'll cut into the inside layout fairly soon. Let's go in through pit lane here. Sounds good though. I didn't check actually if this was rear or front wheel drive actually. Sounds awesome. Turn in. There we go. Kind of going the wrong way around Rockingham here. Keep off the grass. This is a mad little thing, but it's quite fun actually. Go this way. Oops. Too quick through that. Completely misjudged that one. Let's go through the chicane instead. I'd say it's actually rear-wheel drive the way it's behaving. Let's use the old first chicane here. No, it just won't turn in. Now we creased it. That's fun. That's a fun little car. Go back to the info here. H button gearbox. 4-wheel drive. Ah, okay. That makes sense. Okay, what else have we got? Maybe check the approved cars as Malbec. Yeah, these are all the ones which have been officially approved by the developers as being good mods. There's lots of them there which have just been submitted anyway in various states. Kind of quad there, which is pretty cool. Let's see what else we want to try. What is this? Like someone's cut one side of a car off and then put a saddle on it. That's mental. Okay. One of the other things you get with some of these mods, so for example, not that one. This one? Yeah, so you got this truck, which is like a big, hard box type truck. And then you have different setup options, which you can change the rear container, or you can change it to being a tanker or cement mix. There's like complete variants of the mod just in the setup mode, which is really cool. Okay, let's this thing here looks like a McLaren F1, but I suspect it's quite mini. Let's put the person in then. Yeah, it's like a mini car. Yes, we've got to try this. Okay, here we go. Is it sequential? It is. Revving up to nearly 14,000 RPM. And that's a bit of a handful. I'd love to be able to tame that. Let's try that again. Try and do a lap of Rockingham here without either spinning or crashing into a wall. We'll drive it as if it's the regular national circuit or international circuit here at Rockingham, so we'll get on the brakes for the Dean hairpin down here. Locking up on the rear. It's twitchy as anything, this thing. But that's one of the other wonderful things about Live for Speed, is it really does bring out the creativity in modders. So, you know, most of the cases, for example, Automobilista or Assetto Corsa, should I say, most people wouldn't put the time of day or energy into creating something like that because no one's really going to download it. But there seems to be this thing with Live for Speed where anything goes. You can just literally think, oh yeah, I fancy doing this, and then do it, and then people like me will give it a go, just out of interest. This is the stupid van, or what was the original super van from Ford. So what has this got? This is H-pattern gearbox. It's 721 brake horsepower per ton. So 2.6 turbocharged V8 with rear-wheel drive. So here we go. The stupid van. Quite a nice sedate start, but we're up and running and picking up speed. This is obviously based on the concept of the super vans which Ford have been doing, and recently released a new one which was at Goodwood, which was all electric powered, but in the past they've used Jaguar XJ220 engines in the middle of these things, just as a mad development technical exercise, I suppose. But obviously it's not like a regular van. The centre of gravity's been lowered and the horsepower is significantly higher. Into the Tarzan hairpin we go. Probably called Tarzan because you have to just throw it in there. No messing. Handles pretty well for a van. It still doesn't like sausage combs though, as you'd expect. So yeah, just I'll say the variety of cars and vehicles that you get in the modding world is just yeah, mind-boggling. So this is a soapbox. So I don't think this has an engine. Yeah, no power unit. So this is simply gravity fed. So I think I know just the place to try this actually. I believe somewhere it's Blackwood car park. What is it? This one. Okay, so I have a layout here. Let's see if this actually allows us to use gravity to our advantage. Oh no, too far back. Shame. There's a big long ramp which goes all the way down. I was hoping it would allow us to just drop off the edge. Don't think I have anything else that starts on a hill. Don't think we do. Try this one, I think. There you go. So we start off on a hill here. Let's. Okay, we're up and away. See how far we can get off the line here with our gravity racer. The key with gravity racing is to not have any huge inputs. You've got to try and maximize your forward momentum and straight line speed as much as possible. So any amount of steering lock will really reduce your speed and scrub it off, and then you just can't gain it unless you have another hill to help you along your way. So can we get up to the next little kink? We're slowing down. So this is a type of car which is obviously made for particular layouts, but not overly drivable for majority of circuits. Well, let's get to this apex. We'll consider that a win if we can get there. We're slowing down. Okay, I think we got it. I think we made it. Okay. What else have we got? It's a pushback tug, so it's like an aircraft mover. Here's one I've not driven on stream before, I think, actually, is the plover, or the rover, essentially what this one is. It's a race version of the rover. It's got a side exit exhaust and slick tires and things, so let's give this a go. I pretty much can guarantee this will get further than the soapbox. Down to turn 1. This feels quite nice on the force feedback. Quick car as well. So Romford's asking, I wonder if track mods will eventually be a thing. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if they do allow track modding to be brought in, but that would certainly change the game even more so. I mean, you can see what's happened with the car side of things. It's just absolutely taken off and people have just run with it. So who knows what would happen if we had the ability to add tracks in as well, but that's up to the developers if they want to do that, but I'm not sure if there's any direction in doing that as of yet. The slick tyres on this plover, not rover, are providing plenty of grip through the corners. You're talking about the piano. Yeah, you spotted the piano in the list of mods there. It is very funny. This is actually quite nice to handle. It's got enough power and enough oversteer to keep you interested, but is also able to be, brought back under control and slid through corners with relative ease. So quite an enjoyable drive. Again, there you can just throw all the opposite lock on it as you want. Feel where the slip angle is, and then just hold it there and bring it back in line. It's just one of the beauties of the tyres in Need for Speed. It has a really good feel for what's going on. You got a bit of tramping under braking then as well. It's getting hot now, I think. Yep. Overcooked them. But yeah, so literally there's so many different things. We could just keep ploughing through mods all evening and just trying them out and having a laugh with them. But there's some really, really good gems in here as well. I mean, has that been approved, that one? Oh no, it was the standard espresso that was approved. But there's a mad spec one as well, which is just cool, isn't it? Right. We'll give this a try as we're on track with it. It's pretty fun. Let's cut through the chicane, because we can. We're on free roam mode. Have we got 6 gears? We do. Okay, down to the corner at the end of the straight, down to 4th gear, down to 3rd. Car's very stiffly sprung, you can feel it kind of bobbing around on the suspension through the corners. I'll tell you what, the sausage curbs look enormous in this thing because you're just so low down and on the floor. Well, it's been a little bit of a interesting stream this evening. We've been doing various different things, just kind of going through some of the features here of Live for Speed and enjoying this sim of 20 years of being able to drive this particular sim in its various formats. It's obviously evolved over time, but in its current state of where it is now, for me, it is a thoroughly enjoyable sim to drive, and it's obviously being a little bit older. It runs well on most modern computers. There's no massive hardware requirements to run this thing, and you can just focus on the actual driving side of things. But for me, this particular game, this sim, is never going to be removed from my hard drive because it's just got so much to offer. And I'm excited to see what happens in the future as well. I mean, I know there's things in the works with the new tracks and the new graphical updates, but physics updates as well. They're looking at doing a higher basically physics rate, so it allows you to, well, if you've noticed on here that the lap times are only recorded in hundredths of seconds, but that's actually down to what's capable within the engine. But they're now looking at options to boost that up so you can actually record lap times in thousandths of seconds. But it also makes the overall graphical experience of Live for Speed smoother as well. So there's a lot of technical information on that, which was released on the press release for the 20th anniversary. So go check that out on the Live for Speed website for more information on that if you want to delve into that. This little thing's fun. But yeah, with Live for Speed, you really can run it on anything. You know, Kilo says you can run it on a literal potato of a PC. It's very accommodating. And if you don't have a wheel and pedal set, you can run it with your keyboard, or you can use your mouse to steer. You know, you can do. It's just so accessible. But it's also just still one of the best in terms of its physics for me. As I said earlier on in the stream, it's just so natural feeling. You don't drive it thinking, okay, I'm kind of second guessing what the physics are doing. I'm trying to figure out. You work out what the tyres are in this particular sim and then just drive to how that feels. It's such a natural driving experience that you just kind of tune into the tyres and they just give you the feedback that you need to know what kind of level of grip you have underneath you and how much you can push it to make it go through the corner that little bit quicker. It really is just a beautiful all-round sim which still has lasted the test of time. So 20 years being available for us to drive, there's no reason why this sim couldn't go on to being still relevant in another 20 years time. And I'm sure there'll still be people out there making content for it, driving on servers, whether it be cruising or racing, whatever it may be. But what this does for the world of sim racing may not be for everyone, but it is available for everyone. And if you're new to sim racing, I would actually recommend picking this up and giving this a try first, just to kind of get your eye in with it, even if you're just using the demo for the time being. But it really is a good starter sim for a lot of people, but you can take it to be much more than just a starter sim. You can really delve more into it and just enjoy the driving experience. I mean, here we're just literally just pooning around an industrial or business estate. Without a care in the world. And there we go. So that's Live for Speed in 2021. Let's answer a couple of questions here. So, one, is it relevant still in 2022? Yes, it is very much still relevant. It is still very much something which all sim racers should try at least once in their life. They may not instantly gel with it, they may not want to do anything more with it because they might have found something they really like in the world of sim racing, and that's fine. But it's definitely something you should experience at least once, even if it's very briefly. But I can guarantee that you would have a really good driving experience driving on Live for Speed. Two, does it work with modern equipment? I've had this running on this computer, obviously running very well. I had Fanatec gear before this, and it was running with that, no problem at all. Direct drive motors, no issues there either. So this is running nicely on the direct drive, and the level of feedback is good. I mean, it's not maybe as publicized, knowingly good as some of the other ones out there, but force feedback on here is not bad, and it's not wrong. It's as I said, it's natural and it feels good to drive, and you have a good understanding of the weight, and you have a good understanding of what the car's doing underneath you. So force feedback is good even on a direct drive wheel, even on a G27 or an older wheel. You can still get a good understanding through the wheel of what's going on. Is it relevant in terms of content? Well, I know there's a lot of fictional content on here, but there's also some more kind of lifelike based content on here as well, mostly through the form of mods. So you have obviously Nissan Skylines on there, and you have Skodas, you have all sorts of different things on here. So there are some cars which are obviously recognizable of being what they are. So you don't just have to drive fictional cars which no one's ever heard of or seen before. There are more modern stuff on there, or genuine real life stuff on here. So yeah, with the adverse of mods, it's definitely better in terms of overall content and what's available. But just in terms of driving feel, how does it stack up with everything else? I mean, I've said it a few times tonight, but the natural feel of Live for Speed is so good that it really does stack up and has a great driving experience within the game. And I love Live for Speed. Now I will recommend it to anyone who hasn't tried it to give it a go, even if it's just for a bit of a laugh and just a bit of fun. I mean, you saw what we did there with NASCAR versus IndyCar at Rockingham Oval. It was absolute pure chaos, but it put a smile on my face and I enjoyed it. So really, really good. So guys, that's our kind of celebration of Live for Speed for 20 years anniversary. I am so glad that it's still alive and kicking, and I'm sure it will be for much, much longer as well. But guys, thank you for joining us this evening. Thank you for your thoughts, your inputs, and for sharing your memories of Live for Speed and what you enjoyed doing. It's been good reading the comments. I know I haven't responded to as many as I would normally do, but it's great to see you guys on here having a conversation and just talking Live for Speed, because it's one that definitely shouldn't be consigned to the history books of sim racing, or sit in the shadows of anything like iRacing or Automobilista or any of the other sims out there. It is still very much one that is available to enjoy for all people. So thank you for joining us this evening. I'm glad we managed to get there in the end in terms of the technicalities of things. It was a bit of a shaky start with Microsoft Windows deciding to update and change all my settings. But we got there in the end. So thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did enjoy our little look at Live for Speed this evening, please do hit the like button. And if you're new here, as I said earlier on, welcome. Good to have you with us here at Sim Racing Bible. Please consider hitting the subscribe button if you like what you've seen. We do weekly live streams and hopefully try and do some more pre-recorded videos as well in the future. But we will be back again very soon with another video and another stream. So stay tuned for that. But thank you very much once again for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. But until next time, we will see you soon. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye for now.